We're following developments in Russia following a pair of deadly bomb attacks in the southern city of Volgograd. The latest blast tore through a trolleybus during Monday's morning rush hour, killing at least 14 people. The explosions highlight the terrorist threat in Russia as it prepares to host the Winter Olympics. CCTV's Anya Ardayeva is live in Moscow. And Anya, what's the latest with the investigation?
Elaine, massive security checks are currently underway in Volgograd. Some 4,000 police officers are literally sweeping through the city, combing through the city, conducting security checks and ID checks on the people at the restaurants, in the shopping centers, and the airports, at the railway stations, and so on and so forth, trying to find clues as to who is behind those two successive deadly attacks on the city of Volgograd, which claimed the lives of 31 people and injured scores. 28 people remain in the hospitals and 4 of them in a very serious condition. No one has yet claimed responsibility for this attack, but investigators already said that the way those bombings were carried out both happened during rush hour. One at the train station, another at the trolleybus, and both carried out by males. The bombs were also very similar, and they contained similar explosives, TNT, and the way the bombs were assembled were also very, very similar in both attacks. So all that and other clues show that the organizers possibly come from the North Caucasus and from the North Caucasus Republic of Dagestan. Now, Islamic extremists earlier vowed to disrupt the Olympic Games in a statement posted online in July by one rebel leader, Doku Umarov. He has called for violence on civilian targets prior to the games. Now, these attacks comes less than 6 weeks before the Olympic Games begin in the city of Sochi, and that's not far. That's only 400 miles from Volgograd. Now, U.S. Department of State has authorized a reward of $5 million for the capture of Doku Umarov, the man who has called for violence in July. That man earlier claimed responsibility for several other terrorist attacks in Russia. He has remained silent on this particular attack, but that statement, that award was authorized in 2011, and the statement on the U.S. The Department of State website says that, quote, the senior leader and operational commander of the North Caucasus-based Caucasus Emirate Group, that's how it characterizes Doku Umarov, whose stated goal is to establish an Islamic emirate through violence in Russia and in Moscow and other parts of Russia. Now, on Monday, Russian President Vladimir Putin has met with the head of the Russian Federal Security Service, the main security body, and the two discussed a plan for tougher security measures in Russia.
Well, and Anya, you mentioned the president, but how are Russians reacting to these latest attacks?
Well, this is the news of the attacks, which come on the eve of what is perhaps the biggest holiday in Russia, is certainly bringing a lot of tension and fear in the air. Many Russians, and not only in Volgograd but in Moscow, remember a number of deadly suicide terrorist attacks on civilian targets here in the past years, starting from 1999, apartment bombings of 1999, to a number of bombings at various targets at an airport, at the airport, on a subway, on a train, at the theater, on a school in Beslan. All those memories are now brought back, and certainly this will overshadow the upcoming festivities. A 5-day mourning was announced in Volgograd, starting today until January 3rd. Many entertainment shows will be cancelled, and the other thing too is that the name of the city of Volgograd, which was once called Stalingrad, also has an important place in the minds of many Russians. This was a site of a major battle between the Soviet troops and the Nazi forces in the World War II. This battle helped to overturn the course of the war, and the Soviet Union has lost over 1 million soldiers in that battle. So certainly this place, this city has a special place in the hearts and minds of many Russians. Elaine.
All right, CCTV's Anya Ardayeva reporting live from Moscow.